Hey guys, this is Jason from AbstinPhotography.com. I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you just a little bit more about the RAW versus JPEG. If you had read my recent post entry on my blog at AbstinPhotography.com, one of the things that you should know about RAW images is that they are much larger when compared to the JPEG image that is actually created by your camera. Most of your DSLRs give you the ability to take photos in RAW format, which means they capture basically all of the information available, the lighting and everything, and store them on your memory card. That's why it's a good idea to have large memory cards if you shoot a lot of photos in camera RAW. One of the things that the RAW files do is give you a lot more functionality when you're processing the images. For example, if you do not have your white balance set correctly, you can easily correct your white balance with just a few simple clicks. One of the first things that I always do to a photo when editing is I will go in and do a lens correction on that photo. That's another nice little feature that Camera Raw will allow you to do. You can simply click your enable lens profile correction. It helps to filter out some of the effects, some of the distortion created by a lot of your lenses. You will simply then select the lens type for your camera. You can then go right back to your editing. You have a wide range of editing available to you in Camera Raw. For example, if we did want to adjust our white balance in this photo, there are a lot of preset choices available to us, such as shot, which that is basically how you shot it with your camera. There's auto, which a lot of people will just simply use the auto function in their camera and change it later in post-processing. Now we'll just scroll through some of these to give you an idea of how they can affect the way your image looks. And as you see here, between the auto and the daylight, we see it makes the image look just a little bit cooler going to the daylight. And then when we go to the cloudy or the shade mode, it adds a little more tint to it. It warms the photo up. You can really see how you can benefit from using your cloudy or shade mode in doing landscape work. If you're not shooting in RAW, if you're shooting only in JPEG, you can kind of get an idea of how it'll affect a lot of your photos. Once you have decided on your white balance, whatever you need it to be, you can also adjust that up or down with the slider here, either cooler or you can take it a little warmer. It's completely up to you. There's also a quick select tool to where if you had something like just a white piece of paper in your photo, that you can simply click on that and it will automatically correct your white balance for you. At least get it close enough where you could use the image to get it a little more in where you need to be. And also this value here that you were given, if you had a lot of images taken in the same setting, this would give you a good starting point for processing and color correcting those images. There is a lot of the functionality between this when compared to the JPEG image. I can bring clarity up, which you can do a lot of this using a JPEG image as well. However, it seems to be a lot smoother in Camera Raw compared to JPEG. And now what we're going to do here though is we're simply going to go into the JPEG editing of this, and when we pull it into Photoshop, we do have a wide range of tools to where we can experiment, to where we can correct. However, we don't have as many. There are a lot of different steps that we would need to go through to do a color correction as far as our white balance, that sort of thing, that in Camera Raw is much easier to process. These images are generally processed by your camera to save space. Most of your DSLRs do give the option to save an image in Camera Raw. If you're going to do a lot of portraiture, I would recommend that you actually shoot in Camera Raw to give yourself more flexibility to bring in a lot of the detail in the photo, to really bring out the colors in the photo. And once you have the image the way that you would like it in Camera Raw editing, you can then bring it into Photoshop to do just a fine-tuning if you would like. Now, I hope this video was helpful to give you an understanding of the difference between Camera Raw and Jpeg. I would recommend that you simply go out and take a few photos in Camera Raw. Most of your cameras these days will let you shoot a RAW plus JPEG, which means you actually get a JPEG file as well as a RAW file for the image. But once again, take a lot of memory with you. Take extra memory cards because you will use a lot of space. These files are a lot larger than a JPEG file. Anyways, I hope that helps. For more on this topic, visit my blog at abstonphotography.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also visit me on Facebook, to where you can get regular updates. And thank you for your time.